Week 11 of the college football season is here. Man, this season has flown by quickly. I heard your requests. I heard your demands. You wanted a college football show, so here it is. I'm giving you 3 best bets for Saturday, November 11th, college football special of the free 3. Let's dive into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Nova Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag and make some money. Now, I heard the comments. All right, you guys said we want some college football plays. We want some weekend plays. Noble, I saw the DMs. I got y'all. All right. We've been absolutely killing it the month of November. Typically, I don't put out plays during the weekend. I try to give my video editors a few days of, a weekend break. But you know what? Hey, if the people demand it, then what can I say? I can't go against it, right? So because I got my video editors working a little bit of overtime, the least you guys can do is support the channel. If you could drop a like for it and subscribe, share this with somebody who you know likes the sports bet, I would greatly appreciate it. We've been absolutely killing it in the month of November. You can see our year-to-date record right here with 15-5 as of time we're recording this video. Will probably be even better by the time this video is posted. Absolutely been killing it year-to-date. Now, college football, our record is not all that because only record that we have are the ones that I've done on the channel. So that's during the week plays. So we're about 5-5 on the midweek plays, but we've been absolutely killing it on Saturdays inside of our group. So make sure you click that link in the bio and join our Discord group. So this way you guys can get all of our extra weekend plays, because again, this is a special that I'm giving you guys. I might do it every week, I don't know, but we'll see. But if you want those weekend plays, make sure you click the link in the bio to join our free Discord groups. This way you guys can get those college football plays and NFL plays. All right, my friends, so let's dive into these best bets. For my first best bet of the day, I'm going to go with a teaser. I know, people, if you're a real OG in the handicapping space, you're like, you don't tease college football, you don't do it. Listen, I go for winners. I don't care about all that juice stuff. I don't care about all this other rules. Now, don't get me wrong, there are rules in the sports betting game. I break that down inside the Discord group as well when I do some of my classes and stuff. But listen, one of the things is I'm going to go for what works, and teasers have been working for me all year, so I'm going to run it back. And I actually took a very similar teaser with this very same team earlier this year, and it cashed. So you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to go Penn State plus 10.5, and I'm going to take the over 39 minus 1. So that's a 6-point teaser to the Penn State up, and then we're going to take that points total, we're going to drop it down a little bit, so this way we can get over it. I took the same type of teaser. Only thing different was I took the under against Ohio State when Penn State took on Ohio State, but it cashed in for us. Dive into these numbers here, and let me tell you why I like this best bet. So first, we've got Penn State at home, okay? I get it. James Franklin in big games against top 5 schools. Against every other school, James Franklin is a cash machine. He covers on the spread. Penn State balls out. But against top 5 teams, especially Michigan and Ohio State, Penn State can't get it done. I think this is the year it's a little bit different. I don't know, right? They have the best offense that Penn State has had since James Franklin's been there. And they have the best defense that James Franklin's had since he's been there. And they're at home in this game. That's where it's a little bit different from that Ohio State matchup. They were on the road in that game. But I really love Penn State here in this spot. Do I think they win outright? I hope so. Like, I'm not a big Michigan fan, but I can't say that they win outright, but I do think they're not going to lose this game by 2 touchdowns. And for me, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in here. So let's look at it. Michigan is 5th in points per game. They're averaging close to 41 points per game, while Penn State is 10th in points per game, averaging close to 37. So that right in and of itself should scream over to you. But the problem is when you look at both of these defenses, they're both top 10 scoring defenses. Michigan is number 1 defense in terms of scoring defense. They give up less than a touchdown per game, while Penn State is number 3, giving up about 13.5 points per game. So now that's why you can see where that middle is in that total. So you're probably saying, no, but why not take the under? Why not tease it up and just take the under since they have such strong defenses? Because for me, when you look at Michigan's body of work, I think that the defensive metric is a little skewed. The Wolverines enter this game with a strength of schedule rank of 111th. They haven't really played anybody significant. I'm not going to lie to you. The Big Ten, besides Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, is truthfully a kind of a weak conference, and their non-conference schedule was not strong either. But now Michigan faces their gauntlet of their season. They got Penn State, and they've got Ohio State coming up as well. So now we're going to see what this defense is hitting on. Now we're going to see if this defense is really college football playoff worthy, and if they have the likes to go against the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Washingtons, or whoever else they might face a little bit later on down the road. After their loss to Ohio State, where they only put up 12 points, this offense for Penn State has absolutely turned up. Like, Like, they went crazy. They dropped 33 points on Indiana, and they dropped 55 points last week against Maryland. But this is the big thing that I'm noting. Their quarterback, Drew Aller, he only attempted 4 passes beyond 20 yards in that loss against Ohio State. That was one thing I was watching in that Penn State-Ohio State game. They were not being aggressive. They really weren't stretching the field. They weren't trying to go deep. Well, after the game, Penn State's offensive coordinator came out after and said the reason why that was because the defense that Ohio State was playing. They were playing the 2-3 high safeties. They were pitting everybody deep. They wanted everything to be in front of them, so it makes sense. But since that game, again, he only had 4 passes of about 20 yards or deep in that game, right? And then in the entire season before that, I think he only had about 15 passes of 20 yards or more. Since that game, in the 2 games in Indiana and Maryland, he's had 12 passes of 20 yards or more. So it's literally been a conscious effort by this offense to say, you know what, we need to stretch this field. We need to take some deep shots, especially because their running game, it's a strong run game, but it's not as potent as we're used to seeing in years past. It helps to keep the defense at bay and literally opens up things for that offensive line and for that run game. Now, Michigan, they run a lot of zone defense, cover 3 to be specific. If Aller has the shackles off of him, he should be able to pass on this defense and points should be scored. Both of these teams are really good in the red zone, which I love. Both Michigan State and Penn State are top scoring teams in the red zone. They don't like to kick field goals, they like to score touchdowns. They rank in the top 10, both of them, in touchdown rate. And out of 92 red zone attempts, both of these teams combined have scored touchdowns 72 times. That's absolutely amazing. So that's why I lean towards the over, because of the fact that both of these offenses have been looking to get the ball moving more. The Penn State offense has been looking to spread it out more. And then also this defense, I don't think they've really been tested like that. I don't think Penn State loses this game at home by more than 2 possessions or more than 2 touchdowns. So I like the Penn State plus 10.5 there, and I like the over 39. We don't need a ton of points to get to that either. All we need is like 21-20, 24-21 for us to get over that 39-point total there. So I really like that. So let's go with the teaser as our first best bet of the day. For my second best bet of the day, I'm going to go to the SEC here, as we've got the South Carolina Gamecocks taking on Vanderbilt, as we have 2 of the bottom class teams in the SEC East going at it. And, you know, this is probably an ugly game to handicap. You're probably wondering, like, no, well, why are you choosing this game? Well, because I think there's an opportunity here to be made. Vandy has yet to pick up a conference win this year. What a shocker. I mean, Vanderbilt, the academic school, is not doing good athletically. I mean, who would have guessed? They haven't done good in football since James Franklin left. It's surprising. They find themselves losers of 8 straight games after winning their first 2 games. Meanwhile, this has been kind of a disappointing season for South Carolina. Last year, they finished 3rd in the SEC East. They finished with an 8-5 record, and all signs were promising when Spencer Rattler said that he was coming back for one more season. But truthfully, this hasn't really worked out for the way that the Gamecocks have wanted this year. They're 1-5 in conference this year and 3-6 overall. Rattler hasn't had the same type of offensive explosiveness that we saw last year. He's actually kind of playing like his Oklahoma self, which is kind of sad to see. He only has 14 touchdowns to go with 6 interceptions in 9 games, so it's not really that good. And it also doesn't help that South Carolina's defense can absolutely stop nobody. They have the 110th scoring defense out of 132 teams, so they're giving up about 32 points per game. So while Vanderbilt really has nothing to play for but pride, South Carolina still has something to play for, and that is a bowl berth. Because if you look at their schedule, right, their schedule was a little bit top heavy in terms of the opponents that they were playing and being on the road. So that maybe speaks to why they're not doing so hot to start this year. But they have 3 games left against really beatable opponents. They've got Vanderbilt, they've got Kentucky, and then they've got Clemson to finish off the year. It's not going to be a cakewalk by no stretch or no means, but all of the games are at home, and if they win their last 3 games, then they'll finish 6-6, and they'll be able to get a bowl berth. So because of that, I think the journey starts on Saturday for this Gamecocks team, and I think they're going to play like that. So because of it, I want them to be able to get out to a fast start, and I'm going to take South Carolina first half spread, -7, -120. Now, let me say, -7 is a key number here. If you know me, if you tapped into the channel, you're in my Discord group, then you know I like to buy points. I like to buy the hook. I like to buy key numbers. So I would take the 6.5 at this. Or you could wait to try to see if you can get it live. 7.5, things start getting a little iffy because it's a key number. So I would take the 7 here on the first half spread for South Carolina. Again, it's about -120 right now. Because the fact that South Carolina has something to play for, all the games are at home. And this Vanderbilt defense, if you look at their numbers a little bit more, Vanderbilt, they suck. They're god awful, but they really haven't given themselves a chance to win games, because right from the onset, the game is over with. Like from the first half, by the time they go into the locker room for halftime to make adjustments, there isn't much adjustments to be made besides, hey, offense, we need y'all to score some points. Look at their game logs, okay? Look at some of their recent games. Last game against Auburn, they were down 17-7 at halftime. Against Ole Miss, they were down 26-0 at halftime. Against Georgia, they were down 24-7 at halftime. Okay, I get it. Ole Miss, Georgia, two of the top teams inside the SEC. We understand why they were probably losing then. So what about Florida, who they played before that? Down 21-7 at halftime. So okay, SEC teams, still a strong conference, but let's look at when their losing streak started, right? Earlier this year, they were down 24-14 to Wake Forest, and they also gave up 20 points to UNLV in the first half as well. So that kind of tells you the trend that's been going on with this Vanderbilt Commodores defense and this team all year. Their game is over with by the time they head back into the locker room. And that's just really disappointing to see. I mean, that's really deflating to any type of team. And guess what? I think the same type of thing happens on Saturday because of how good Spencer Rattler can be, how good this South Carolina offense can be, and how strong they've been at home. Now, look at these numbers, right? I love this, okay? Vanderbilt is averaging about 10 first half points per game, but their defense is ranked 128th out of 132 teams in first half scoring defense. They're giving up close to 21 points per game in the first half, okay? On just that average alone, this spreads about 10 or 11 points. But South Carolina, on the other side, is averaging 14 points per game in the first half. But now when you look at the disparity, you dive into the numbers a little bit deeper, on the road, they're averaging less than 10 first half points per game. But at home, that number jumps all the way up to right under 21 points per game. You see that difference right there? So now this game is at home. You're playing a weak Commodores defense that's ranked in the bottom 5 of all college football teams in first half points allowed. And now you have a South Carolina team which is one of the best at home in the first half. I love that. South Carolina is comfortable at home. They may have gotten the short end of the stick when it comes down to their scheduling with all the road games and the top heavy teams that they had at the top of the schedule. But now they have a chance to save their season, finish their season strong by winning 4 straight home games. They got the job started last week by beating Jacksonville State. They won that first half 21-14, so that would have bumped or pushed in this case, but if you bought the point like I would have, then guess what? You would have won the bet. But I think they're going to be able to really lay it on this Vanderbilt team at home, give their fans something to cheer about, and because of that, I want to go with the South Carolina Gamecocks first half -7 spread, -120 as the second best bet of the day. Give their fans something to cheer about. Get some momentum here as they build into that next matchup against Kentucky, and I will not be surprised if this team wins out and gets eligible for a bowl berth. Their playoff season has started from now. It really started last week, and I think they're going to play with it. So let's go with that as our second best bet of the day. Now, for my third and final best bet of the day, I'm going to go with another teaser. I know you might not like teasers, but I really like this teaser, and I'm going to go with a split teaser. I'm going to tell you why I'm taking this teaser, okay? I'm going to go with a 7-point teaser. I normally take a 6-point teaser, but I'm going to go with a 7-point teaser on this one. -125 odds, you're going to get it. We're going to take Washington down from 9.5. And we're going to take them down to 2.5 favorites. So they're right now, this Washington -9.5, and we're going to take them down to -2.5 favorites. So let me break down this game first before I give you the other leg of the teaser, okay? Fun fact, do you know who the last Pac-12 team was to make the college football playoff? Okay, that's right. It was Washington. That was 7 years ago, though, okay? Michael Penix and this Washington team has a real legitimate chance of taking the Pac-12 by storm and finding themselves in the college football playoff. They have to win out. It's not an easy slate to win out, but trust me, they can get it done. Now they have to face a Utah squad that actually has been pretty impressive this year themselves, considering all the injuries that they've dealt with this year. Not only is their best player and quarterback Cam Rising, he didn't play after not being cleared with that ACL injury, but their workhorse running back, Jaquindon Jackson, he's been dealing with some injuries himself, so that's going to force Utah to rely on their freshman running back Deion Stanley and then their backup quarterback Bryson Barnes in this game. However, Utah has relied very heavily on their defense. Despite the lack of offensive weapons they've had this year, they've relied on their defense to keep them in striking distance, and it's worked. And that, for me, is one of the things that has worries me about such a large spread at 9.5, 10, that when you have a strong defense that's used to having their back up against the wall like they've been all season, trust me, they can show up and they can play. But the big thing is when they face the combination of a strong offense and a strong defense, that's when this Utah team has run into some problems. First, they played Oregon State a little bit earlier this year. That's a team that has a very strong run game, and they lost that game 21-7. Then Oregon came into town a few weeks ago. They absolutely got thrashed in that matchup 35-6, right? So we can see that. Strong offense, strong defense, they didn't get it done. Now they have to travel to Washington and take on potential Heisman Trophy winner Michael Penix, and I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points in this matchup. It's just as simple as that. It can become a shootout, and if that's the case, I don't think Utah's offense is going to be able to keep up. Washington is fourth in college football in points per game. They're averaging over 41 points. Utah is only averaging 24, so that's about 13-point disparity right there. Now, Washington has also shown that they can grind out some wins and get some stops, like what we saw in the 36-33 win against Oregon, and then the 15-7 win against Arizona State. Even that game last week against USC, even though it was a shootout that flew over the total, but what I loved in that matchup was that Penix wasn't just the star. The running back Dylan Johnson, he was able to rack up over 250 yards to go with 4 touchdowns in that matchup. So Utah, what they do is they specialize in kind of controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling every inch. They want to keep everything in front of them, and they want to force you into third and long situations. But guess what? Now that you're not one-dimensional and everybody's focusing on Penix, but you can now have a dual threat with Penix and Johnson, I think that's just going to be way too much for this Utah team. So I teased it just because it's a conference game. When you have a strong defense, they can keep the game close, but I don't think that Washington's going to lose their opportunity to go to the college football playoff, even the Pac-12 championship, over this Utah team today, and especially it being at home as well. So I'm just going to tease it down just because I'm not 100% a bigger fan of the 9.5, 10 points, even though I do think they do cover that. I think they're good enough to cover that spread like what Oregon did to Utah. Let's just get a field goal here, and let's do it with that first leg of the teaser, Washington -2.5. Now for the second leg of the teaser, I'm going to go to the SEC, and I'm going Florida and LSU. I'm going with the over 59, okay? I'm going to bump it down from where it's at right now, from 66 and a half, and I'm going to take it down to 59, and I'm going to take the over. And the reason why I'm doing that, it's solely a trend play. One, the line has moved way too much on this game, okay? This line opened up at 61 and a half. Now it's all the way up to 66 and a half. That's about 5-6 points. I can't lay that. It's just way too much juice. That's where the teaser comes into play, okay? That's why I love teasers, because you get to still get that same number, right? And my analysis is real simple here. The trend, LSU, they have the longest over streak in all of college football to the over. They've gone over in 9 straight games. That's right. Not every game they played this year, they've gone over. Meanwhile, Florida is not too far behind them. After going under in the first 2 games, they've gone over in the last 5 straight, okay? So both of these teams have been over cash machines. I don't know if it's because they're in the SEC and the total is low, or maybe the lines are just a little bit too low or a little bit off. I don't know. But guess what? Both of these teams have been over cash cows, so I'm going to ride that trend again today. And like I said, I'm going to take that teaser points and get some of that value. LSU is third in college football in points per game. They're averaging almost 42 points per game. Meanwhile, Florida is 59th, averaging about 27 points per game. So you combine those averages together, that gets us to about 69 points per game, flying over this total, even if you take it at the line that it's at right now, even with the way that it's moved, okay? Both of these defenses aren't too good either. Florida's given about 27 points per game. LSU's given about 30 points per game. So I guess it's to about 57 points, right there where that tease line is. That's why I took the teaser. I absolutely love it. So this one should be a high-scoring game, fast-paced with Jalen Daniels and company. I think that LSU wins this game easily. There's a 14.5-point spread there. The question just becomes by how much. I don't know. Brian Kelly absolutely has that offense on fire. I just wish their defense could get more stops so they would have been more competitive. I had put out a video earlier this year about my college football playoff preview. I thought LSU could have been one of those teams, but with their defense, there was no way they could have gotten it done. But their offense is absolutely on fire. So I'm just going to ride the trend of 2 teams that have been absolutely cashing on overs over the last several weeks. Let's go with Florida, LSU over 59. Tease that with Washington -2.5. That's a 7-point tease. The reason why I take the 7-point tease, not the 6-point tease, is because I want to get that Washington game below a field goal. If you don't want to do that and take the 3.5, that's fine. But I like teasing through key numbers. That's big for me. -125 odds there. You can't beat that as our third and final best bet for this Saturday slate. That's it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 college football winners for you on this special. We're going to go with the teaser. Penn State plus 10.5 and over 39. That's a 6-point teaser there. We're going to go with the spread. South Carolina first half -7. And then we're going to end off the day with a split teaser. Washington -2.5. And Florida and LSU over 59. That's a 7-point teaser to go through that 2.5 field goal number there for the Washington. To go through that 2.5 number there for the Washington Huskies. 3 best bets, 3 winners for you on this college football Saturday. As always, if you've been finding value from these videos and you've been enjoying them, if you can drop a like, I'd greatly appreciate it. And also give me a comment. Let me know what else I'm missing or what your favorite best bets are, because I love to tell you guys. I love to tell people in my community, because you know, it's not just about me putting out winners. It's about me taking your winners too. It's about us helping each other become better bettors and making more money together. All right, my friend. And you know what, guys? I might just do another special. I might do an NFL Sunday Slate special. So let me know if you guys want that after seeing this college football video. I might cook one up for you guys. And again, make sure you click that link in the bio to join our free Discord group. I'm giving away $100 to anybody who signs up by Sunday. All right, my friends, as always, dictate your fate, get to that bread, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Later, guys.